Hi guys, I'm Reval. Welcome to part 7 of this Scrum training series. This is the Sprint Retrospective meeting. So here's a list of what we've covered in the Scrum training series. Today we are number 7. So the Sprint Retrospective overview. The development team and Scrum Master are present in this meeting. The team gets to review their actions from the current sprint. The Scrum Master role is to manage and facilitate the meeting. This meeting can take up to 1.5 hours for a 2-week sprint. An honest review. Team members can be honest in describing positives and negatives. Each member should have something to contribute. Actions for the next sprint should be recorded and implemented. Here are some tips. Remember to select a scribe. The reason for selecting a scribe is to make sure that someone is always taking notes, because I've been in teams where people have actually forgotten to take notes because there's no dedicated scribe. If there is a dedicated scribe, people understand their responsibility and they make sure that they actually take these notes down. Taking these notes down is important, but it's also very important to follow what you've taken down. So it's also a good practice to review your past notes. And this doesn't mean review all your notes, just review your notes from the last sprint retrospective. The reason for this is because you could come to the beginning of the sprint and remember to say, okay guys, remember what we discussed in the sprint retrospective, let's try to implement it this sprint. But sprints can be 2 weeks long, even 1 month long. So there's a long time period where this is what you've said you're going to do, and you could easily forget that along the way. So it's very good to review what you said in your current one, and it doesn't have to take long. Just say, okay, this is the list. Have we followed these things? Yes? No? And if it's a no, just make sure to say, okay, in the next sprint, we need to remember to do this. Growing as a team. Remember that Scrum and Agile is all about growing as a team. It's getting better. It's expanding your knowledge. The Sprint Retrospective gives you a dedicated time to reflect on what you did wrong or what you did right, and to make sure that you guys do grow as a team. So it's very important to have some sort of outcome in this meeting. Make sure everyone understands and contributes. Now, what we mean by this is that everybody needs to understand at least the basics of Scrum. That's a given. So if everyone's on your team, or if everyone on your team understands what it is, they can then apply to their role and themselves and say, well, in the next sprint, I want it to go this way for my specific role, maybe as a UI UX designer, and this last sprint I had this poor experience. I want to make sure it's better in the next sprint. And everyone's roles could be different, and they have a different opinion on how their sprint should go, and this is the time that they should let everyone know their feelings. Everyone should also contribute. Now, it could be the same, you have one developer every single sprint retrospective saying, well, the sprint went fine for me. Well, the sprint went fine for me. And where that's good news, it's also bad news if that one person is saying that over and over again, because we are all human and mistakes do happen. So if one developer is saying this, there's a high chance that he either doesn't care enough to give his opinion on what happened in the sprint, or he just doesn't want to contribute. And you need to make sure that everyone does, because it's so important to, if there are any errors or any problems that do exist, we need to highlight them so we can get past them and then grow as a team. So the end, you've actually made it. Well done, guys. Just remember that this Scrum training series was only a basic understanding of the entire Scrum process. It gives you a solid foundation for you then to take this and apply it to your team, but it's up to you to further your knowledge to better your experience. And it's just the whole point of Scrum and Agile is to get better at what you do. We'd love to hear from you and your team about your experiences with Scrum. Does it work for you? Does it not work for you? It's very interesting to hear if it didn't work for you and why it didn't work for you. Share experiences below so we can all have a good conversation. And thanks for watching, guys. I'm happy that you've made it to the end of this Scrum training series. I hope it has benefited you and your team. Please comment on your experiences below, and please remember to like and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, guys.